Hi, developers. I'm Evan Vishy. I'm the community manager at Tatum, and today we're joined by Bartosz Lipnicki. He's the co-founder and managing partner of Alphabeat. Alphabeat is a venture capital fund that specializes in finding and investing in enterprise software startup companies. And he's going to dive in how to find the next unicorn. So, how are you doing, Bartek? Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Evan. Thanks for having me today. Congratulations on your video cast,
Thank you.
educating about blockchain and apparently about venture capital as well.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you here to get a little bit of variety into the series because it's nice to come at it from a different angle. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, how did you end up starting a venture capital fund? Have you always been an investor? I mean, how did your journey look?
Right. Well, that's been a coincidence. Different experiences mixed together, and I've been in venture capital for just a few years now. I'm an industrial engineer by education, and sales and business development by career, and I've been a consultant as well turned investor. So I still, besides pure capital investments, do enjoy facilitating strategy workshops or working with people one on one. And it was 5 years ago when I joined forces with Jan, a friend of mine who just IPO'd his software company at Warsaw Stock Exchange. I had a dream to support tech founders so that they make a global impact. So literally from Central and Eastern Europe, scaling up globally.
Cool. So, what kind of tech founders are you helping out? Who are you invested in, or what kinds of companies are you invested in at this point?
So Alphabet is a specialized venture capital fund. We invest at seed, early stage, and enterprise software companies coming from Central and Eastern Europe. Have a track record of investing in a unicorn, and we're backed by successful enterprise software founders who build companies worth over 50 billion. So we're literally focused on enterprise SaaS as a business model at a stage of seed early, which means that there's a early team, there's a product backed by technology, and there's early revenue coming from first enterprise customers. And among our current portfolio companies are Coin Firm, Intiaro, Perfect Gym, Promo Republic, Volt. Coin Firm is quite exciting and my first step into the blockchain world.
Hmm.
It's an anti-money laundering software platform for digital asset market players. So it's used by digital asset service providers, protocols, exchanges, financial institutions, governments. Mm, The other one being Intiaro is a configuration and visualization tool set for furnishing products online. So used by US furniture brands and interior designers. And I think last worth mentioning is Wolt, one of the globally fastest developing food ordering and delivery providers that actually um, acquired and merged with our early investment. And we're now happy riding the wave together.
Awesome. Yeah, I just ordered from Volt last night, so love the service. Thank you for investing.
Good
So
to
cool.
hear that.
Yeah. So how does Alphabet differ from other investment funds?
We believe we're specialized in
Hmm.
terms of enterprise software and focus on the earliest stage and focus on the region. So obviously there are many different venture capital funds. Some are generalists, some are focused on a specific vertical or specific business model. We believe that focus on enterprise software and Central Eastern Europe is a great fit because Central Eastern Europe is rich in software engineers, data scientists, and there's a lot of drive among the founders to prove themselves and prove the world that they can do it. So typically they kick off in the region and then they scale up towards larger direct markets in Asia, Western Europe, or the US.
So, how do you find these promising up and coming enterprise software startups?
You wouldn't believe, but venture capital is still a boutique consultative relationship industry. So simply through personal reference from the network. It's still a lot about building relationship, building trust, and supporting one another. So I'm always happy to speak to the founders, to learn from them, share my perspective, support them anyhow I can. I always do my best to help connect people with one another, share a case study, and eventually, probably one out of hundreds, I do invest.
Okay, interesting. So what are you looking for when you're looking through all these different companies that you come across?
To start with is that what we focus our investment strategy on, right? So for us, it would be enterprise SaaS. It would be ideally coming from Central Eastern Europe at early stage. We always look at the industry. So is it large enough? Is it growing? And I mean, it's eventually down to people. So are the founders experienced, entrepreneurial, courageous, and do they have that global mindset so that they're not trapped by a local market? In Central and Eastern Europe, there are so many relatively small countries. So the idea is great to start there, but then the idea is to go global. And eventually it's about timing. So why now? Is it the perfect momentum for kicking off with the business and getting the investment, which is not that obvious. And investment is not always the way to grow your business.
Sure. Interesting. So, well, I guess from a company's perspective, how can companies judge if it is the right time for investment or whether a given investor will be a good fit for them?
To to start with, I believe you don't need an investment to build a successful business,
Hmm.
right? So for the investment, of course, while any startup may become a global success, there's a mix of success factors, some of which I've just mentioned, and also being an outlier as well that I'm especially excited about. So it's not just about a great idea or just about a great market. It's much more about a mix of fantastic founder team, exceptional product, massive market opportunity, so that you can convince yourself, but also the investor, that there is a current or future high potential product market fit. And that is worth it both for the investor and for you as a founder.
Sure. So, and from your perspective, are there any misconceptions about what makes a business a good investment?
Yeah, I think it's not just a it's not just a great idea. It's not just a great product. It's Yes, again, it's a mix of different success factors. Mm, and well, and you don't need an investment to be successful as an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
You may need it, or it may be of great help, and it's up to you to find that fit for you.
Sure. So, moving on to blockchain, what's your relationship with the blockchain world? And yeah, I mean, how do you see its potential?
It's relatively fresh, I have to admit,
Okay.
quite positive. So my first step into the blockchain world has been through CoinFirm, one of our portfolio companies, one of our investments, and it's anti-money laundering for cryptocurrency flows. And but I'm personally really bullish on decentralized economy,
Hmm.
and so which means to me, I know, less of regulation, less bureaucracy, fast moving world. And well, in terms of cryptocurrencies, we're taking Satoshi's manifesto and Bitcoin as a reference. Is value keeping deflationary um, asset against governments printing money, lowering the value of widely used government issued currencies to start with. And what recently I was really surprised about to find out that the European Investment Bank, part of European Union, used Ethereum technology to issue digital bonds worth over 100 million,
Hmm.
managed by a few international banks. So it's a great example that it's widely spread and used by not only startups, not only different size companies, but also large institutions and governments. And going on with decentralized energy, that's quite exciting. Healthcare, and many more. I've also learned recently that blockchain protocols are widely adopted by telecom network operators for securing cross-network transactions. So it's literally entering more and more industries.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of opinions about, the price of Bitcoin and speculation and cryptocurrency investment, but the technology itself is something that it's hard to argue against as far as its value. And I think a lot more, larger enterprises and institutions are taking notice about that. So then how did you come across Tatum?
No surprise, we were connected, so a personal connection.
Hmm.
And since then, I enjoyed talking with Easy, co-founder and CEO, and keep my fingers crossed for you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. So, and are you familiar with what we do, or is there any, or how do you understand, or what do you find appealing about Tatum?
Right. So I mean, Tatum is a developer platform for blockchain. So it simplifies complexity of fast development of blockchain apps, but also allows cross blockchain communication, which in the current state of development of and adoption of these technologies provide almost unlimited possibilities and opportunities, I believe.
Mm, yeah, we're working on it. We're trying. So, outside of blockchain, are there any other areas of technology that you think hold a lot of potential, or any other startups you're planning to invest in that you're particularly excited about at the moment?
Yeah, so I do follow a few technologies or a few industry verticals. Um, it's Recently I've been digging into decentralized energy.
Hmm.
So take a commodity house and the roof where consumers become kind of independent energy generators. If we think of solar power and uh, and that they form a part of decentralized ecosystem where energy further on is being traded business to business and with all that complexity of load balancing, trading, and so on. And other being the kind of space that I personally come from with my previous experience is cloud communications, and where conversational AI is pretty hot,
Hmm.
is of course being used into chatbots and powered by robotic process automation, and how you can automate some of the boring, repetitive activities.
Sure.
Also, a bit maybe out of the box, but retail in terms of proximity services. So not only food ordering delivery, but also wellness. So like massage centers wherever you need them,
Hmm.
outside of your apartment or outside of the workplace, or take post shopping experience where whenever you order something online, you're receiving tens or hundreds of emails. So imagine how that experience can be improved as well. Or marketing that's still driven a lot by emails, instead of visual things. So I think there's a lot to come up with, a lot to disturb, and it's still quite exciting.
Definitely, definitely. Well, it sounds like you're in an exciting place to influence and interact with it at Alphabet. So, well, cool. Well, I think that's all I've got. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or yeah,
Yeah, once again, thanks for having me, and I'd be delighted to speak to any tech founders, especially from Central and Eastern Europe, and in enterprise software, and blockchain, of course.
Great, great. Well, we'll definitely put your website and details in the video description. And yeah, thanks a lot for sitting down and chatting with us. I think it's been a lot of great insights in there. And yeah, if you're a tech startup um, looking for a great investor, definitely get in touch with Bartek at Alphabeat. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, and happy coding. See you next time.
Cheers.